back to YCFT. We recently went to see the latest legacy horror sequel, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Long-time viewers of the channel might remember, I think it was about 2 years ago, we did the whole trilogy of I Know, I Still Know, I'll Always Know.
Yeah.
Which is confusing. So this one kind of ignores I'll Always Know. So if you're going to watch this as a trilogy, I Know What You Did Last Summer, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes. Yeah.
Not complicated at all. We're going to do a quick spoiler-free thoughts, but then we have to go into some spoilers for this one, which wasn't our intention when we decided we were going to do this until we saw the movie and said, there's things that we have to talk to.
There's things we have to get off our chest.
Yeah. So right off the bat, this has never been my favourite franchise. And we rewatched the first one before going to see this new one, and I always enjoy it, but we always forget the killer's motivation in this film. It's usually like once every 2 years or so I tend to watch this, and we all know it kind of started as in the wake of Scream. It's a Scream knockoff, essentially, even though it was written by Kevin Williamson before Scream. And I did think when this one was announced, is it going to be the same? And then the trailer came out, and the poster came out, and I got a lot of Scream 2022 vibes. I'm like, oh, good, it's not forgotten its roots.
Yes.
Then. But our last foray into this franchise was the TV series.
From a few years back.
Which we did not like.
I don't know anyone that did. It was... Oh, God. It was such a disappointment. And we only stuck with it because we kind of wanted to see who the killer was. Yeah. Ultimately.
I remember being on Twitter when the finale aired, and there was just anger.
There was rage.
There was just rage.
And we were part of it.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
They couldn't have just had one scene of someone, in the raincoat with the hook.
No.
And at least when I saw the trailer for this and saw the posters, I'm like, they're going all in on the hook, and I'm like, good. And getting into this actual movie, the fisherman is quite a big presence, and he feels like quite a dominating presence.
Yeah, and that's what we needed.
That's kind of slasher fans don't want you to reinvent the wheel, which this film doesn't by any means.
No.
It has a little bit of that 90s nostalgia to it, which I kind of liked, but realistically, we just want some entertaining kills.
I think
that's kind of that's what we want from these films, and we got that with this.
It's directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson, who I think just literally like by the opening sequence of the movie, you can tell. All right, she understands what she needs to do here. She's clearly she's a fan of the original film. I'd be surprised if she wasn't, because there are a lot of homages to the original. There's a lot of similar shots to the original as well. The soundtrack is obviously different, but there was a really cool soundtrack in the original 97 movie, and it's the same here as well. So, she's thoughts on the film aside, this is a director coming into this thinking, right, okay, I know what I need to do. And I didn't get that from the TV series. Yeah. At all. The TV series was trying to reinvent it, and
it didn't need it.
Really failed. Yeah.
Let's go back. The last film, I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, is not good.
I've already forgotten the plot of that one.
It has a plot?
I literally can't remember a thing. We did a whole video on it, and I cannot remember a thing about it. It's evaporated.
I do have to say with this film, I quite enjoyed the cast.
So I did as well.
I think I only recognised one of them, the guy that plays Milo. I think, especially a lot of the girls had really, really good chemistry. The two actors were also really good, and I ended up quite enjoying these characters. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting that from this. What does hold them back, though? We both had we had the same complaint about the TV series. Actually, it's the Gen Z dialogue.
It is a problem.
Now, this was written by a woman who was, 37?
She's 37, yeah, according to Wikipedia.
It's not as egregious as it is in the TV show, but they go heavy in certain moments on the Gen Z dialogue, and I feel like even the actors are struggling with it.
It's not natural dialogue.
I know it's just how kids talk, but I feel like they go too hard in on it to the point where it's like, well, they don't actually talk this way. I don't really remember them doing this with millennials.
No, I don't remember that at all, but people really seem to have gone all in with the Gen Z, TikTok dialogue.
I think it's hard dialogue to do.
It's hard dialogue to weave in naturally, and I don't believe for a second that young people talk like this in everyday conversation. And I've seen a few reviews of this movie, and everyone seems to be picking up on the same thing. Yeah. It's a bit of a bugbear for everyone.
I think especially when essentially it's trying to be a 90s throwback, but then with extreme modernisms in it. It's like, right, do you want to be a throwback or do you want to take it into like the new generation? You can't really do both. You have to pick. It's quite a minor gripe because, like I said, once I kind of warmed to the characters, I kind of just started to ignore the dialogue. Really.
Yeah, there were some moments where I did think it was a bit too much. Like the killer reveal at the end, they say a particular line, and I was like, ooh.
The amount of times people talk about therapy in this.
Therapy is a big thing. Gaslighting is a big thing. Like, all the big buzzwords that people talk. There's a character that's, like obsessed with being an empath, or like, she's obsessed with like meditation and things like that. We have a true crime podcaster in this film.
They always have flashbacks to Halloween 2018.
I just want to say, like, Gen Z dialogue and characters that have a true crime podcasting angle, those are two things I am completely done with in my horror movies. I don't care for them. I don't want to see them anymore. They've been done. Just get
I do think she was actually quite a good character, though. I did like her, but I do agree.
The podcaster.
Like, yeah, the podcaster was made fun of when Halloween 2018 came out.
It's already a very outdated thing.
Yeah, it really is.
It has been for a while.
A lot of the kills in this, as fun as they are, they do tend to centre on just characters that are introduced just to get killed, which I don't have a problem with. But for the most part, I don't really feel like our characters are in danger until it's very obvious that this is probably this character's time now. This is just kind of nitpick, and I think overall, I did quite enjoy the film, and I would watch it again. It's definitely better than I'll Always Know. I'm kind of still debating whether or not it's better than I Still Know, just because I'm not a massive fan of that film.
I like I Still Know.
I don't like Rastafari and Jack Black. He just really bothers me in that film. And Ben's son, I can never forgive it for that.
Ben's son?
Obviously, without revealing the motivations of the killer and whatnot, it's actually way simpler, far less convoluted than it is in the original film. And I kind of appreciated that. I'll actually be able to remember this one.
Yeah.
I would happily put this on again, and I would happily see a sequel with the remaining characters.
I would also watch this again. Overall, I did enjoy it. I know I don't sound convincing when I say that. It's just because there's a few things, specifically about the end, that I'm still not sure exactly where I sit with it. But overall, like, I just want to talk about one character in particular, Danica, who's played by Danica, that's the one. Played by Madeline Klein.
She's the empath character.
Yeah, I really thought I was going to hate her. I thought she was probably going to be like the first one to die.
I ended up quite liking her, to be honest. I thought she was really funny. She
became my favourite character.
She actually ended up being more interesting than
the actual lead.
The actual lead.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that whole performance. It leads into like some really. She's just funny. She's good with comedy, like physically and with line delivery.
Yeah, and just having a really good chemistry with the other cast members.
Yeah, this is also like, it's obviously a slasher film, so you're in investigation mode, and you are trying to figure out, right, who can it feasibly be out of all the characters that we've been introduced to? Who can it be? And I think the film does a good job of putting you in that like detective headspace. I had a good time trying to figure out, and I had it wrong in my head. There was a particular kill where I was like, ooh, okay, I think I might know who it could be, and then I was proven wrong like a couple of scenes later, and I was like, huh, okay. So I appreciate that.
I accidentally guessed it a few days before we saw the film.
Yes.
Just thinking, oh, would this be cool? And
I was halfway right.
I think by the end, right before the real, I had a couple of ideas, but I think I did mostly work it out.
Yeah. Some other general things that I did really like, before we get big into spoilers, the setting of Southport.
It was nice to return there, because we've not been there properly since the first film. We're there in the beginning of the second one.
It was... I really enjoyed that. I like seaside, like coastal town horrors. They're quite niche, but I like them when I can get them, and it was a big letdown for me with the TV show, because it was sort of set on a coast from what I remember, but they didn't really heavily lean into it, and as you say, the killer in that didn't don the fisherman slicker outfit. So it felt quite removed, whereas this, it's like, no, we're all in on this town. So I did really enjoy that. Something that you mentioned before as well, you know, like it's a fine line between doing new things but then also relying a lot on the nostalgia. I didn't mind the nostalgia traps as much as I thought with this one. There were a few scenes where we revisit settings and places from the first film that obviously look quite new. There's props from the original film that are like, you know, old and dusted, and I was like, oh, I like that. I like that. It's showing that time has moved on, but we're also still kind of stuck in that time as well. That was just another thing that I really appreciated.
So there's a big thing at the town. A lot of the town's been bought up by a property developer, and they're trying their best as to, well, basically, a lot of people in this are rich, because after the massacre, how the housing market tanked in that area, so a lot of rich people bought everything up. So to me, I got the idea that it's much less of a fishing town now, because we see a lot more yachts than we see fishing boats. For the most part, they seem to be just trying to forget what happened because they don't want it to affect the tourist trade. And I'm like, all right, that's an interesting. I wish I went harder in on that. I think it's spoiler time, to be honest.
I think it probably is.
So this is your spoiler warning.
We're going all in.
Yeah, I want to talk about a spoiler first that we both agree that we quite like.
Yeah.
A dream sequence cameo by Sarah Michelle Gellar as Helen Shivers.
Yeah.
I did think in the lead up to it, like, they're mentioning Helen a lot. She must have been like an idol for a lot of people, and clearly for like the true crime community.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think they really regret killing off Sarah Michelle
I
Gellar?
really. So she is digitally de-aged. Now, I think for the most part, it looks pretty good. She's being all menacing in this nightmare with the hook. It's weird considering like it's Danica's dream and she's clearly never met her, but she clearly thinks about this character a lot. And I always enjoy a bit of SMG. Well, it was nice to see her back again.
Oh, it was a fun sequence. I think, you know, Danica is also like, I think from what I remember, it mentions that she is the town's beauty queen.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like whatever the equivalent is.
She is what Helen was.
Helen was, yeah. She's won that particular pageant. And that was something I said before about, you know, we revisit settings and places and props from the first film. The big shell thing that Sarah sits on, you know, like the backdrop of the pageant, that's there. It's somewhere in storage. And that's where, you know, like the dream sequence takes place as well. And it was just a really fun sequence.
It was a nice surprise.
She's only in it for a few minutes, is Sarah, but she takes on a bit of like a menacing edge in the scene.
Holding the hook as well.
She's holding the hook, and she, you know, she's telling this character, Danica, you did a bad thing, and you have to pay.
I think this film does a pretty good job at like showing, in a more realistic way, how the characters are dealing with.
I totally agree with that.
Happened.
Yeah.
I like how they redo that, because it's one of them's drunk and while he's high, messing in the road, so someone swerves off the road and crashes, rather than them hitting someone. I'm like, that's a nice little change. And then because he's got rich parents, it gets covered up.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Because
so it's the same but different.
But different, yeah.
I like that.
If they'd have just gone with the same thing as the original, where they literally like run someone over and it's a hit and run, would have been fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, where's the imagination in that? But, you know, at the same time, we know going into this film, realistically, there has to be a collision of some kind on that road.
Yeah.
So how are they going to do it? And they did it differently enough where it was interesting and still believable. Having recently rewatched the original I Know What You Did, it's an issue we had, I think we've always had. Julie James
is not a strong...
She's not.
She is better in I Still Know.
She is better because
they
Jennifer
made her more
Love
like...
has more to do.
They made her more like Sarah Michelle Gellar in the second one.
Yeah, she has...
The wrong female character survived in the original one.
Yeah, there is definitely a strong argument where Sarah Michelle Gellar should have maybe been the final girl. I think the issue, it's not really so much Jennifer Love Hewitt, it's just the character of Julie. In the first one, she's just like a guilt-ridden mess, and she's not particularly strong. She runs away from everyone and everything. She doesn't get a good chase sequence. She's never really in any particular danger up until the very end. And even then, she just distracts Freddie Prinze Jr., like, which is, you know...
Yeah.
But anyway, by the by.
I think we should talk about Freddie Prinze Jr. Again, major spoilers. In proper Scream knockoff fashion, we have two killers.
We have two killers.
Which I think was pretty obvious throughout the film. So one of them, I've forgotten the name of our character. Stevie. I actually liked her. I worked it out because she has the least amount of time and development throughout the film. So that's why I thought it was obvious. She's doing her best, typical end of Scream, when they all start acting a bit crazy. Matthew Lillard, acting a bit more crazy than usual, and every Scream film has done the same. This has done the same. She suddenly starts, acting a bit more manic. And I'm like, come on. You don't all have to act like Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard when you're revealed to be the killer. Mm-hmm. But I thought she was fine as the killer. I quite liked her. I quite liked her character.
I think primarily the motivation for her being the killer is strong, and we mentioned I won't forget that in the future. I tend to forget with the original.
I think the motivation for the second killer is a bit weak. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s Ray, I believe his name's Ray Bronson, is the killer and helped her do all of this and get revenge. I'm so torn, and I think people are going to be in two camps. Some that'll think, oh, it's fun. Oh, yeah, having a survivor become a killer. Then others that think, this is actually kind of ruining where these characters were at the end when we last saw them. I think I'm leaning more towards that. I can tell, right, they've brought Freddy back and he's clearly having fun getting a chance to be the killer. I think his motivations are really weak. Mm-hmm. But what it does, and I instantly thought this when it was revealed, is this makes so much sense as to a way they could bring back the fisherman killer without it being someone just copying it. So, well, he lived through it. He is essentially using what he went through and applying it to this new scenario. So it makes sense for that type of killer to come back. But it kind of leans into this film where the film's like, oh, if you don't deal with your trauma, it's going to come back to you. There's literally a line in this film saying, oh, none of these events would have ever happened if men just went to therapy.
So therapy, gaslighting, and trauma are the three big words of the new I Know What You Did. Yeah. Trauma is just
Trauma's
all
over the place.
Yeah. I think so. It's essentially... Well, another thing as well is at some indeterminate time period, Julie James and Ray have got married. They have also divorced. Yeah. And things are not good between them.
When we last saw them,
good friends.
Yeah. When we last saw them at the end of I Still Know, what we can imagine must have just been a dream sequence of them being attacked in their home. But they seem happy. And it felt like it was earned that they were together. This is probably the most interesting Ray has ever been, though.
I was just going to say.
And that's no offence to Freddie. I love Freddie Prinze Jr.
But the character is just a dud. He's the first one.
I suppose this is technically a bit of a callback because the first film tried to heavily hint that he could be the killer. He was the red herring.
Yeah. It's like he's never really had much to do in any of the films that he's in I Know What You Did. Like the first one, he's there. They hint that he could be the killer. You never really believe that he's the killer. The second one, he's just on his own. He's trying to get to the bloody Bahamas, which couldn't have been a fun shoot for him, poor guy. Anyway,
I think he enjoyed the second one more than the first one.
Probably. Well, he's separate from the rest of the cast, like the core cast. So I'm sure it was fun for him. It definitely is the most interesting that Ray has ever been. Yeah, and sure. But yeah, it's like it's. So him and Julie have divorced, and she is now a professor, I think, of psychology at this university or college. She only lives 45 minutes away from Southport.
But has sworn to never return. So why don't you move further away
down the road? But anyway, and I think it's kind of hinted at that the relationship has broken down because as she's come to terms and been studying, with the psychology and the trauma and everything, she understands, right, okay, I'm moving on and I'm processing it. He has not. He is repressing everything. And it's, to me anyway, I got the feeling that that's where the marriage has broken down because they're in two very different places. But we haven't seen it. But that's not, it kind of is the motive for him being the killer, but primarily the motive is because the town have hushed and just shoved all the events of 97 under the carpet. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to remember it because of the real estate angle. All the rich guys in charge are scraping any parts of it from the internet. They just want a clean slate, basically. They want Southport to be, this perfect little town, like a Sanford, essentially. And Freddie doesn't like that. He wants people to remember what happened. So when this girl who works for him, Stevie, comes to him with her particular problems. Won't go into that. He kind of sees that as an opportunity to think, okay,
yeah,
maybe we could bring back the fisherman.
I think it's just the execution. I don't mind it in principle. It's the execution. That's my issue with it. And I said this is just such a... Because I suppose it has been a very long time. It was like 20 years later now at this point. It's so far removed from where we last saw these characters.
It's like Whiplash.
Yeah. And that's why I think a lot of people might not take to it. And honestly, before the ending, you could realistically take Julie out of this film and it doesn't change. The biggest issue I have with that ending is we've built some pretty strong characters throughout this film, and then right at the end, all the attention is pulled away from them, with Ray being the killer, and then Julie having to come back to try and save our remaining character. And it suddenly becomes about the legacy characters, kind of like in Scream 2022. And we created characters that can stand on their own 2 feet here, but they're kind of cut off at the knees by not having a proper ending to themselves, by making it about the original film again. And that bothered me, because it wasn't necessary. You could still have Ray be the killer, but I don't think Julie needed to be here for this.
I agree.
And I don't know if that's just the fact that, like, I don't think they had any chemistry in the scene that they were in, because they don't really spend time together throughout the film. I don't know why she didn't seem surprised.
No,
by
she didn't seem surprised. She didn't even seem, like, remotely heartbroken in any way. Okay, they're divorced, but you'd still think, like, oh my god, like, this is my ex-husband, like, my best friend once upon a time. You'd think there'd be a little bit of something there. She's just kind of numb.
I feel like it would have been stronger if they'd had a child together.
Quite possibly,
and if she was keeping the child from... We also have a post-credit scene where we get another surprise cameo of Brandy.
Yeah.
Has returned. And Julie appears at her door, right as she's conveniently watching the news about what has just happened, gives her a picture with Brandy's face crossed out and on the back saying, "It's not over." So our new characters don't even get the ending of the film. It's given, again, to the original films. And I think, why didn't you just make a film based off those characters if that's what you really wanted? Why even bother having new characters? The setup they've planned is that it is just going to be a sequel to I Still Know.
Basically, yeah.
So why bother having new characters?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I did feel that. I did feel like at the end it sort of felt like the legacy characters were bullying their way through and like pushing the new ones aside.
Yeah.
But it still worked in a way for me. It didn't.
It was interesting, and I was.
Yeah.
It was surprising.
Look, I don't know how I feel about Ray being the killer. I realised before the reveal, like, oh, Ray's gonna be the second killer.
Yeah.
It dawned on me, and I didn't like it. And then when we did get the reveal, I was like, I still don't like it. It was a fun scene for Freddy. I think it didn't necessarily help, as we say, that we had just watched the original movie like 2 nights prior, so that was still in my head. And even though, like, Ray is just kind of like a nothing character in the originals, I still don't know how I feel about it. I didn't think I'd be defending boring Ray.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel right. At the same time, I guess you can't turn him into a Dewey again. Like another Dewey, where Dewey dies heroically trying to save
the new characters.
So
at least he's trying to kill the new characters.
He's trying to kill them. It's something a little bit different. I don't know. It's a strange one ultimately, because I did enjoy the movie. Some really cringy and annoying dialogue aside.
Some really good sequences.
Some good sequences. 2 of the characters I really liked. One of them I loved. Thought she was brilliant. I liked the final scene of those 2 characters together, the 2 female characters.
Yeah, I like that.
That was a lot of fun. The ending is... I genuinely don't really know where I sit.
It kind of jumps the shark. It feels like it jumps the shark a bit.
It does. Yeah. But, I mean, Stevie, we've not really gone into her motivations as why she's the killer, but I liked it. I thought that worked. There's a lot of stuff about this I did enjoy.
The film kind of hints that it could be a pastor that's the killer. And obviously Stevie has some relation to that, and we'll not go too much into her character. But I think if they'd gone... I know it would have been obvious for it to be the pastor, but I think it would have been the better route. Something that's more intrinsically tied to her character rather than just being, oh, her boss went through this, and when he found out what she went through, he decided, oh, should we just kill your friends?
Yeah. It's also like...
Come on.
There's also... it's an issue I sort of have with Scream, as much as I do love that franchise as well, is like... Probably sounds a bit of a weird thing to say, but I kind of think, if you're going to be a serial killer, if you are going to go on a killing spree, don't you want to, like, create your own persona? Why do you want to copy what's come before? It's like all these new ghost faces. It's like you're not like... I know it. Obviously, they tie it into like the they've got their own reasons for wanting to don the ghost face. Like they're obsessed with the Stab franchise and whatever.
But like I was saying with Ray, because he's the one that's putting this forward, he's taking his traumatic events and unleashing them on this new cast of characters. It makes sense for him to don that outfit, for him to bring this killer back. And I think that's actually a stronger way for that disguise to come back than it is in any of the Scream films.
Yeah.
Because
agree with that.
So many killings, they would just stop making that costume.
I agree with that. It's that simple. Yeah. I just, there was something in me when I was watching it when Stevie revealed herself. And even when she takes off the slicker outfit, because she's like, fuck, it's hot in here.
She puts it on, then let you take it off again.
Yeah. It's like, it's me. There was just a part of me when I was watching it, I was like, you really didn't need to wear that costume at all. Like, this has got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You've just, you've been convinced.
It does make me feel like Ray did most of the killing.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah.
That'd be fun to try and work out who did. Well, I have to wait. Hopefully, Zach Cherry does a who killed who.
I was going to say, he'll be all over that.
Yeah, I feel like some of the bigger, more physical kills. Because one thing, as soon as I was suspicious of two killers, and it was when she was revealed, and I'm like, the killer we've seen was bulky, massive. I'm like, there's got to be a second killer.
Yeah. Well, also, like, one of the victims, he's a really hench guy.
Yeah.
The character's called Teddy. And, he's big, like, he's bulky, he works out, and he puts up a hell of a fight.
I don't think that was Ray.
Do you not? Because if that was her, like, she took some punches.
Yeah. That's it. That's what I'm interested about. And the thing is, ultimately, even with these issues, I would watch a sequel to this.
I would watch a sequel to this. I would definitely watch this again. I did have a lot of fun with it. Yeah, there were some scenes, where I was like, there was a lot of dialogue where I thought...
There's things that can be fixed going forward.
Yeah.
But let's just remember where the franchise was.
But Madeline Klein, all the way, she was great. I loved her. She was really good. And the other main character, I don't know the actress, but the character's called Ava. She was fine.
Yeah.
She was perfectly fine. But yes, to Madeline Klein. I agree with you.
She's probably about as perfectly fine as Jennifer Love Hewitt was in the original, to be honest.
Yeah. But you said something earlier, like the way that the characters do sort of process the guilt and the trauma of the events of July 4th, of the car crash. It's done better here than it is in the original, by far. The original was quite, like, surface level. I don't think, Julie's, like, descent into guilt and, like, emo Julie, where she's just, like, hiding away from everyone. I guess it is a response to trauma, but it wasn't exciting to watch.
I suppose they're two different, because then they literally hit someone and then got rid of the body. In this one, they kind of run someone off the road and then it's covered up. It's two very, very different events. It's
different, yeah. But
it's because these guys never physically saw the person that they
didn't
killed.
So their response to it did sort of ring a little bit more true for me. None of them really go off the rails in the year after. Yeah. In the year after, it's like they're dealing with it in their own way. None of them are really okay, but they're not like Julie James level. Oh, I need to hide away from the world, and everything's so terrible.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that.
An interesting one. I didn't. We were just expecting to do a quick spoiler-free review of this one. Some bits I really enjoyed. Some bits I'm still very, very unsure on, and I think I'm just going to have to watch it again. But that doesn't feel like it's going to be a chore.
No, I would 100% watch this again. It's like, again, we're not a huge fan of the original movie, but we still find ourselves every now and then with the urge to rewatch it.
I don't think I Know What You Did Last Summer is anyone's favourite franchise.
I don't think it is either, which makes this interesting. Why they wanted to bring? Why it keeps coming back?
Well, it comes back when Scream comes back.
Yeah.
Like, Scream came back with a TV series. So did I Know What You Did Last Summer.
But I've also heard, like, a review of a review. Someone mentioning that a few people are saying that this could be the greatest horror legacy movie. Like, and when you think about it, what have we got in comparison? We've got Halloween, we've got Scream. What else have we got? Is that it? Are those, like, the three big ones?
They're the three big ones. There are Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This was Chucky TV series. Technically, his legacy sequel. I still think, and a lot of people might disagree with this, I still think the best legacy sequel was Halloween 2018, which in itself is kind of just a remake of Halloween H2O. So is Halloween H2O actually the best legacy sequel? Maybe.
But regardless, this was a lot of fun.
I think I am kind of done with a lot of these tropes now. I think I've been done with them for a while.
I'm done with the true crime podcasting.
Yeah.
I don't need it anymore. Only Murders in the Building, it's fine. That's the only place where it works for me. That is absolutely fine. But in horror slashers, no.
Yeah. All right, we're going to stop there.
Yeah.
If anyone's seen this, let us know what you think about it. How do you feel about this ending?
Yeah.
Thing is, I'm gonna have to buy the Blu-ray because I need to finish my collection now.
One day I'll read the flipping book as well.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Also, channel members, you know you guys are awesome. Thank you for always supporting us. Also, let us know if you guys have seen this or even interested in this film, because I don't feel there's been much fanfare about it.
So what are your thoughts on I Know What You Did in general?
Yeah. So
where does it sit?
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you when we see you.